The city of Milan has seen revolutions in fabric, silhouettes, and style. It has crowned designers and buried trends. But nothing prepared it for the night two names collided under the vaulted lights of Milan Fashion Week 2026. Because this wasn't just fashion. This was impact. And when Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo both appeared at the fall/winter showcase for TOD'S, the city didn't just buzz. It shook. The arrival that split the night in two. It started outside the venue, where the crowd had already swelled beyond expectation. Fans clutched banners in multiple languages. International press crews adjusted their lenses. Security lines tightened. The first black car arrived quietly. The door opened, and Xiao Zhan stepped out. Draped in a long espresso-toned overcoat with razor-sharp tailoring, he looked like a character stepping out of a high-budget European film. The lights caught the angles of his face, and for a split second, the world felt cinematic. He paused just long enough to let the cameras find him. Then he looked up and smiled. The sound that erupted from the barricades was deafening. But before the energy could settle, another convoy approached. A second car. A second door. And when Wang Yibo emerged in a structured black ensemble layered with textured leather accents, the volume doubled instantly. The crowd didn't scream. They detonated. Two separate arrivals. Two distinct moments. Yet the timing was so precise it felt choreographed by destiny itself. Inside the golden arena, under the chandelier glow, fashion elites tried to maintain composure. Editors whispered behind gloved hands. Influencers subtly angled their phones. Xiao Zhan was seated on the left side of the front row. Wang Yibo on the right. Not together. Not side by side. But directly across the runway from one another. It was subtle. Strategic. Or perhaps coincidental. But the symbolism was impossible to ignore. As the lights dimmed and the first model stepped forward in a sweeping wool coat, something electric hung in the air, not just from the designs, but from the tension threading the room. Halfway through the show, the cameras panned toward Xiao Zhan. He was composed, attentive. Then the shot switched to Wang Yibo.
Calm.
Focused. And then, a blink and you'll miss it moment. As a model crossed the runway between them, both men shifted their gaze at the same time. Their eyes lifted, met across the catwalk for less than a second. But it was enough. Enough for social media to explode within minutes. Clips circulated in slow motion. Fans zoomed in, analyzing the micro-expressions. Was that a smile? Did his jaw soften? Why did they look away at the exact same time? In a room filled with couture, that silent exchange became the most talked-about detail of the night. The moment that froze time. The true crescendo arrived during the finale. Models lined the runway in layered neutrals, taupe, slate, charcoal. The music swelled into a dramatic crescendo. Applause thundered like a rolling storm. As guests began to rise, Xiao Zhan stood first. Seconds later, Wang Yibo did the same. But here's where the night turned legendary. Instead of exiting immediately, both paused at opposite ends of the runway's edge. The crowd noticed. The cameras noticed. And then, almost instinctively, they stepped forward at the same time to congratulate the creative director. From opposite directions. Their paths intersected at the center. Not dramatically. Not theatrically. Just naturally. They stopped. Faced each other. A brief nod. A handshake. Professional.
Polished.
And yet the electricity between them was palpable. The room erupted in applause, but the cheers outside, from fans watching on giant screens, were even louder. It lasted maybe 5 seconds. 5 seconds that would replay online for days. 5 seconds that sent Bojan trending worldwide again. Milan after dark, the city in frenzy. Outside the venue, the streets were chaos in the best possible way. Fans cried openly. Some laughed in disbelief. Others clutched their phones like sacred relics. Cafes along the cobblestone streets replayed clips on tablets. Fashion bloggers typed feverishly. Headlines updated in real time. Historic reunion? Fashion's most electrifying front row. Silent chemistry steals the show. Inside the afterparty, The lighting shifted to a warm amber glow. Jazz-infused house music pulsed through the space. Champagne glasses clinked. Xiao Zhan spoke with European designers near a marble column. Across the room, Wang Yibo stood in conversation with international brand ambassadors. Separate circles. Separate conversations. And yet, at one point, as a server passed between them, both glanced up. The timing was uncanny. Their eyes didn't lock for long this time. But there was recognition. Familiarity. A shared history invisible to everyone else. It wasn't dramatic. It was controlled. And that control made it even more powerful. Fashion, fame, and the unspoken narrative. Let's be clear, this wasn't about scandal. There were no grand declarations. No dramatic gestures. It was about presence. Two global icons occupying the same space again at one of fashion's most prestigious events. Their individual power was undeniable, each commanding headlines on his own. But together, the gravitational pull multiplied. Fashion analysts later noted how their appearances boosted global engagement metrics for the brand within hours. Live stream views spiked. International search trends surged. But beyond numbers, there was something intangible at work. The way the atmosphere shifted when they entered. The way the audience reacted. The way silence became louder than applause. The morning after. By sunrise, Milan streets returned to their polished calm. Garment bags disappeared into vans. Makeup artists boarded early flights. But online? The world was still vibrating. Edits flooded every platform, slow-motion clips of that handshake, that glance, that synchronized stand. Comment sections filled with theories, emotions, disbelief. Some called it coincidence. Others called it fate. But everyone agreed on one thing. It was unforgettable. More than a fashion week. Milan Fashion Week 2026 will be remembered for impeccable tailoring, rich textures, and bold reinventions of heritage design. But it will also be remembered for something else. For the night, two stars didn't just attend a show. They transformed it. No dramatic confession. No staged spectacle. Just presence. Timing. Energy. And a city that felt the tremor. Because sometimes the most mind-blowing moments aren't loud. They're measured in glances across a runway, in footsteps converging at the center, in 5 seconds that feel like forever. And on that golden Milan night, under chandeliers and flashing cameras, fashion bowed briefly to something far more powerful. Chemistry that didn't need words. Before the corridor clip, before the trending hashtags, before Milan fully realized what had just landed on its runwayless stage. Part 1 was the arrival. And it unfolded like a perfectly directed film scene at Milan Malpensa Airport. The terminal didn't look extraordinary at first glance. Business travelers rolled suitcases across polished floors. Flight announcements echoed in Italian and English. Coffee machines hissed behind glass counters. But beneath that normalcy, something was building. A ripple. Airport security tightened subtly near the VIP exit. Fashion bloggers hovered near the barricades, refreshing their feeds. A cluster of fans, some wrapped in scarves despite the mild February air, gripped their phones like lifelines. Then the sliding doors parted, and Xiao Zhan stepped into the Milan light. For half a second, everything froze. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't flanked dramatically. He simply walked forward with that effortless composure that feels both distant and intimate at the same time. He wore a tailored camel trench from Gucci that fell perfectly along his frame, cinched subtly at the waist. Beneath it, a forest green knit softened the structure, adding warmth to the sharp silhouette. Slim black trousers and polished loafers completed the look. Minimal, deliberate, devastatingly effective. The first camera flash went off. Then 10. Then 100. The sound built like rain on a glass roof. Rapid. Relentless, blinding. But what made the moment explosive wasn't just the outfit. It was his pause. Instead of moving straight through security toward the waiting car, Xiao Zhan slowed. He adjusted the cuff of his sleeve, calmly, precisely. He removed his sunglasses. And he looked up. The crowd erupted. Fans screamed his name so loudly nearby travelers turned in shock. Some burst into tears instantly. Others tried to record, but forgot to hit the button. The emotional overload was visible, hands shaking, voices cracking, hearts racing. And he gave them that soft, unmistakable half-smile. Not exaggerated, not staged. A small curve of the lips that felt like acknowledgement rather than performance. In that instant, the airport stopped being an airport. It became a runway. He resumed walking, leather duffel slung effortlessly over his shoulder. The Gucci monogram caught the light subtly, luxury, without shouting. Every step echoed with controlled confidence against the marble floor. Airport staff tried to maintain professionalism, but even they stole glances. A few subtly angled their phones. A security guard blinked twice, as if recalibrating reality. Fashion insiders would later say the genius of the look wasn't extravagance, it was restraint. Camel against Milan's winter sky. Green knit against pale stone walls. Understated, but magnetic. As he approached the exit corridor, the automatic doors reflected his silhouette back at him. For a split second, it looked like two versions of him walking side by side, the real and the reflection. Fans online would later freeze that exact frame. Iconic. Airport visuals of the decade. But part one wasn't finished. Because just as Xiao Zhan's car pulled away from the curb, whispers began spreading through the terminal. Another arrival. Another global ambassador. The tension reset. Inside the terminal, the energy felt different now, charged, expectant. And then, Wang Yibo emerged from a separate gate. If Xiao Zhan's entrance was warmth and cinematic calm, Wang Yibo's was sharp precision. He wore an all-black Gucci ensemble, structured jacket with clean lines, layered over a dark knit, trousers cut to perfection, boots striking the floor with quiet authority. A sleek crossbody bag rested diagonally across his torso, adding a modern edge to the silhouette. His expression was cool, composed, untouchable. The moment fans recognized him, the second wave hit. Screams. Flashes. Phones lifted so high security had to gently push them down. But Wang Yibo didn't rush either. He paused near a pillar, adjusted his bag strap with a smooth, practiced motion, and gave a slight nod toward the crowd. That nod detonated the terminal. The contrast between the two arrivals became instant internet fuel. Camel and green versus monochrome black. Soft smile versus subtle smirk. Romantic elegance versus urban edge. Two aesthetics. One brand. One city. Within minutes, side-by-side edits flooded social media. Split-screen slow-motion clips compared their strides, their pauses, their micro-expressions. But what truly sealed part one as legendary wasn't just fashion. It was timing. Their flights had landed within minutes of each other. Separate entrances. Same afternoon light. Same marble floor. As Wang Yibo stepped toward his waiting car, the glass doors briefly reflected the chaos behind him. Fans, flashes, movement. For a fleeting second, the reflection aligned perfectly with a replay of Xiao Zhan's earlier frame. Two silhouettes. Same setting. Different moments. Connected narrative. And just like that, before a single runway show had begun at Milan Fashion Week 2026, the airport had already crowned its opening act. Part one wasn't loud declarations or dramatic interactions. It was entrances. Measured. Magnetic. Unforgettable. The kind that don't just start Fashion Week. They set it on fire before it even begins.